So, alright, but just make sure it says new layer with layer mask. Make sure that's checked, and you can click OK. And basically just cut out the image from here. Did a pretty good job with it. But if you need to refine it more though, you're gonna have to click on this layer mask. And obviously you gotta resize this brush, it's too big. Change its opacity to 100. And I'd probably use a custom brush, change the hardness to like 50. That way it's a little blurry, but then it's not blurry. But basically the black, what that does is it's gonna erase the image. So I'm gonna make a brush real small here. I'm gonna erase that part of the hand out. Just clean it up more. But if you look real carefully though, there's like little things you can clean up on your image. I'm being real nitpicky on this part of the project. You really want to take your time, erase those things that you don't need in the picture, like especially like right here on the neck. Like if you don't have a good cutout of the image, you might have to do this manually and just erase these things. But the refine edge should help to alleviate some of these problems. So you just make sure to just zoom in and just double check if everything looks good. Some of these parts, it could use a little bit of cleaning. Like right here on the ear, like that could use some cleaning. Alright, but if you look right here, like you see what I did right here, I erased too much of his face. So in order to fix that, you would change this to, make sure it's at opacity is at 100. And black's going to erase your image, and white's going to help to bring it back. So it's real important to use this layer mask technique, because this is going to allow you to easily clean and refine those edges. If you don't use the layer mask and use the eraser, because I know some of you use the eraser for your other project, if you mess up with the erasing, then you can't really go back. Well, you can go back with the windows and the history panel and undo some of those mistakes you did before. But if you did like more than 20 mistakes though, then you can't go back to fixing it. Alright, so now I have a perfectly good cutout of them. We're just gonna place them up here in the picture. I did Command T to resize, double click it to continue it, and then this is the next image that I want to add. But you kind of get like the basic idea. This is open up in a new window. This one I can close, I don't need it no more, just so I don't save it. I only need the tiger in this picture, so I'm just going to use the marquee tool, the rectangle marquee tool, and I'm just going to cut him out. Command X to cut out, Command X is Xerox, and then Command V. So it's real important to have it in a separate window just to cut it out, because that way you don't have like the whole image, and it's better to have like less of the image than more of the image. And then Command T to or why don't you do the refining first. So this one I'm going to do the same thing like before. I'm going to use the selection tool, just select the tiger. He's the only important thing I need. Whoops, it looks like I selected too much. So if it selects too much, you can use the minus to deselect it. Do really take your time with this part, because the more time you take with cleaning those edges, the less work you have to do. But some of these things are blending in with one another, so you might have to manually clean it. Like this isn't cutting it out that great. Now, if you need help with like cutting things out, I can always help you out with that. I'm just trying to teach you guys the easiest method with doing this. There's a hard way of doing it, then there's the easy way. So click on refine edge. I might want to refine edge here just to get those little strands of the hair. That's what the refine edge does, is it gets those little strands of hair, so you don't have to erase those little parts. Alright, but this is pretty good here though. So I'm going to click OK, and cut out that picture perfectly, almost. This part I could fix a little bit more. So I'm going to click on that black box. Make sure you click on the black boxes. If you click on the wrong box, then what's going to happen is, if I change this to black, it's going to turn your image black here. So if that happens, make sure to do Command Z to undo, or go to Windows and go to your history panel and undo that mistake that you did. So just click up once to undo that mistake. Same thing if you have like the white. If you see white or black, that's a big no-no. Don't do that. Make sure you click on that black box So, you know, if you see that black and white box, that gives you like a good idea that you need to stay on that box to do it. And the black should erase your image. So I'm going to clean that up a little bit. Yeah, it did something really weird right here. So I'm going to clean that up. That one I gotta like clean up manually, so yeah, I gotta clean this up manually. So this is something that's gonna really take time to do. I wanted to keep everything, and you know, in cases like this though, it might just be better to just restart it. Oh, you know, I think the actual image was like that. It shouldn't have been. Okay, let me undo this again. Oh, you know what happened? Let me undo this. So I'm gonna undo all these things that I did. Hopefully I can, yeah, I can undo up to that. Alright, just remember though, when you, when you create the new layer with layer mask, it does make a duplicate copy of that previous layer. So you want to delete those layers because you don't need them. And this thing is still doing that little weird thing. If you look at the edges right here, you see like the edges? Like I need to actually erase that part out. So the black's gonna erase those edges. Like it didn't deselect those edges for me. Alright. You know, it doesn't really bother me that much. I think that's like a highlight of the tiger. So that's pretty good. So I'm gonna put them up here. Resize them. You know, make them big enough, same size as the guy. Alright. And then, you know, just for today, though, we're just going to cut out your images. And then next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to fade the things out. So you got 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to put a title on the top. I'm going to actually crop this up even further to place the title on the very top. Alright, so I actually have to fix this background color again because it's not that same yellow. Alright, there we go. So you just might have to play around with it a little bit more. I'm actually gonna change that to a background color, make this a little bit wider. So you gotta like just tweak with it a little bit to get, you know, like the picture that you want.